A disturbing new grand jury report reveals decades of abuse by priests in Pennsylvania. More than 1,000 children were sexually abused by clergy. And the report finds the Catholic Church leaders actively protected and covered up for more than 300 predator priests. Joining us this morning, Sean Dougherty, who was sexually abused beginning at the age of 10 by a priest who was also a teacher and a coach at his school. The abuse by that priest was detailed in a separate grand jury report on the Altoona-Johnston Diocese, which was released in 2016. And Sean joins us this morning. Thank you, first of all, for coming in. I know you've been waiting for this report to come out, so you've been sort of laying in wait. Now that it's finally out there, how are you this morning?
I'm at peace this morning. Yesterday was the end of a very long journey. This started for me in 2012 when I first gave a statement to the county district attorney's office in Johnstown. In 2012, I came from Johnstown here to New York to open my restaurant that I own in Long Island City, Crescent Grill, and we had just purchased the property, and my mom called and said, Father Karchik's picture's on the front page of the Johnstown Tribune Democrat. He's been removed from ministry, and the district attorney is asking people for information. I phoned an old friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to in a long time, but we had a shared experience with this priest, and we agreed that we would go back and give a statement. Johnstown, Pennsylvania is a small town. I'm one of 9 children. Everybody knows a Dougherty in Johnstown, like the district attorney, like the detective that I gave my statement to, like the chief of police that was sitting next to him, like the assistant district attorney that was sitting next to him. So a week after I gave my statement, I received a phone call and was told that it was being turned over to the state attorney general's office. And in 2016, a huge surprise to me, when the report was released and my abuser was in it, my statement is in it. So today I am at peace. I have gone through, I'm a veteran of the Navy. I felt obligated in the 90s to speak up when I came home from boot camp. And it was a hard time for people to understand that. Plus, we learned from this report that they groomed the entire community into that. So I feel that I fulfilled my duty yesterday. Since coming forward, now 350 some priests. And now, since I've been public about this for 2 years, I'm standing on the shoulders of many, many before me that unfortunately, many are no longer with us, and they're propping me up right now. And I have to tell you, I'm completely at peace today.
You were in turn helping to prop up a number of other people who are seeing you this morning, who have read your account. It calls into question, though, what do you feel is the proper recourse? What should happen to these priests? Is there such a thing as justice for you?
Sure. Justice is. There's a crime, there must be a punishment. The Catholic faith is raised on sin. We are all sinners. We all commit sin, and we are all due forgiveness. It's possible. Well, you have to first stop the sin. And to this point, the church has refused to do that. They fought this report up to the very last minute. So statutes of limitation reform, legislation. Again, I'm a military veteran. I don't understand how an organization has more say and more sway in the state that I swore to defend than I do. So there's a bill in the Pennsylvania State House being debated now, and that could bring justice. Plus, the retroactive window portion of the bill that would give somebody like me an opportunity who timed out at 15 years old. I had to say something by the time my abuse was done. I wasn't old enough to drive a car, but I had to do this at 15, would give me an opportunity, is being debated.
Which is remarkable that there's a question in some ways. That
Yes
there's a
and
question
no.
that it shouldn't be.
Well, that's the lobbyist
Right.
side. That's the money side. That's the power and control side.
In terms of power and control, there is power and control in the Vatican. And the Vatican this morning said, in terms of a comment on this grand jury report, their comment right now is no comment. What should Pope Francis do in this situation? And where has he's received mixed reports, to put it mildly, on the way he has handled allegations of abuse by priests in the past. Is there something he could do now, in your eyes?
I'm a business owner. You know, this is an opportunity for me. I was in Harrisburg yesterday. I found this. We're trying to push this legislation through. I'm exhausted. Yesterday was a trying day. I have to work tonight. I got in the car and drove from Harrisburg to here for this spot. The Pope should have landed at JFK, or not at JFK, but in Pittsburgh or in Harrisburg or in Philadelphia by the time I touched back here in Long Island City last night. He hasn't. You know, Bishop Gaynor from Harrisburg has just come forward, 71 names. He's so sorry. He's, you know, it's all about the victims. What he didn't say is he's the head of the Pennsylvania Catholic Conference of Bishops, which is the lobbying, which is paying the lobbying effort against the victims for the statutes of limitations. So he's saying that he's working with the Attorney General's office while simultaneously fighting those recommendations that that grand jury just put forth yesterday.
If you could speak to the Pope at this point, what would you say directly?
You have a serious public relations problem from a business end. I mean,
What about
set
from
aside,
a moral end?
What am I going to tell a Pope? This is that they're supposed to tell me the morality. I mean, what do you tell an institution that teaches morality but has none? What am I supposed to say to them? I have to deal with them as the way that they treat their organization. They're not treating it as a moral, faith-based organization. They're treating it as a business. So as a business, and I own a business, I can give them advice on that. You have a horrible public relations firm and you're about to lose a ton of money. So, and they understand money because when one of their priests embezzle, they prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. When you embezzle from the church as a priest, you go to jail. When you rape a child as a priest, you get transferred to a whole new flock of kids. So it's a business. So maybe that'll do it. Money has been their presser their whole time, in my opinion. So this right now is a public relations problem for his business, and he is the CEO of that business.
Sean Doherty, thank you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Thank you for speaking up for so many.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.